Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show. Today we'll be talking about how to be a Google Business Profile Platinum SEO with a very special guest today, Krystal Taing from Uberall. We'll be talking about local SEO, maps, all kinds of good stuff. Be sure to give your shouts out in the live chats. Carol Fry, hello from Seattle. Hello, Carol. It's pretty hot where I'm at right now. I think it's over 80 degrees. See, I got my room fan going. You can see my leaves moving. Stefan, my man. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. So I need your guys' help. For those that want to see some particular SEOs on the show, go into the live chat. I put a link to a place to comment who you want to see on the show. Love to get your suggestions. I have a bunch of people lined up already, but I want to mix some of those SEOs that you think that should be on here that we can actually talk to and learn from. Oh yeah, Nico, my man. Happy Friday from Finland. Today's topics, we'll be talking about how to become a Google Business Platinum SEO, Google Business Profile Platinum SEO, and all about local SEO and some rankings and maps. So that'll be some great stuff. Today's guest will be Krystal Taing. I actually see her in the back right now. Hold on, let me make sure I can hear her. Let me bring her on the back. Krystal, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can. Lovely, lovely. All right, guys, we got Krystal in the back. Get your questions ready. Let me know where you're watching from. All right. Everything looks good. Everything sounds good. There we go. Lexi, yeah, you have two cameras? I was like,
yes, I do.
All right, lovely. All right. Krystal, where you? You're in San Diego, right? You're like,
yes, I am calling in from San Diego.
Love it.
And where are you based?
Oakland, California.
Nice. So same time zone. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty warm out here. Is it hot out there?
Yeah, it's warm. The sun just came out. The marine layer's starting to wear off, so it's nice.
Love it. All right, guys, this is going to be a good one here. We already got Krystal in the back. If you got some questions, get them ready. You can post them in the live chat and I will bring them up during our conversation. We'll be talking about how to become a Google Business Profile Platinum SEO expert and all about local SEO and a little bit of Uberall and see what that's all about. We got about a little more than 5 more minutes to go. So Krystal, so what I'm going to do is I usually introduce you about maybe 8 minutes after 12 because I kind of go over a few videos I find I find this past week, and then I'll introduce you in.
Perfect. That sounds good.
You could like interact with people on the chat. People are saying hi to you already.
Where is the chat at?
Oh, you have to actually go onto YouTube.
The link. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then just kind of just mute yourself. Mute the YouTube so you don't get feedback. Natalie says, hi, Krystal and Dre. Kenneth says, Happy Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Don't be shy, guys. Be sure to say hi in the live chats. Carol says, Hi, Krystal. If you're just tuning in, today our special guest is Krystal Taing. We'll be talking about how to become a Google Business Profile Platinum SEO expert and all about local SEO, ranking your maps, maybe talk a little bit about the local ranking factors that was just released. That's some good stuff right there. I know Krystal was on a bunch of webinars talking about that. Krystal says, Hi everyone, thanks for joining. You were recently on vacation, right? Where'd you go? Were you like out of country? Oh wait, hold on. You're actually on mute. I just unmuted you. All right. So
I did a road trip from San Diego, and for the first time I went to Sedona and the Grand Canyon, which I've been here for over 15 years and just never did it. So
nice.
Yeah,
How long was that drive?
6 hours. Wasn't bad whatsoever. Yeah. Even got some snow in the Grand Canyon, which was nice.
Really?
A nice change for spring break. Yeah.
I would think it'd be really hot out there because that's out in Arizona, right? Around Arizona.
Yeah. So Sedona was warm, but I think it's the elevation at the Grand Canyon. That it was nice. I had like 4 different seasons in a single trip.
Love it. I mean, that's like here in the Bay Area, Northern California. I mean, you can go from one part, it'll just be like misty and cloudy, and then during the same day, go inland, and it's just like hot.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but it's nice to, like I said, to drive 6 hours and be able to get that. So we're lucky here.
All right, guys, we got about 2 more minutes to go. Get your shouts out. Get your questions ready. Jeremy, hi everyone. Ready for the SEO party? Yes, sir. Okay, if you're just tuning in, again, we have our special guest today in the back, Krystal Taing. Today we'll be learning all about local SEO, maps, and how to be a Google Business Profile Platinum SEO expert. Whew, that's a mouthful.
A mouthful, it is.
Love it. All right, guys, I got 1 more minute to go, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting things set up here. Krystal, I'm going to put you on mute, and I'll unmute you when I introduce you in. All right, guys.
Sounds great.
Fletcher, my man, let's go.
Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO video show where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest today is Krystal Taing of Uberall, and we'll be learning all about local SEO. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Fletcher, Krystal, Jeremy, Carol, Ernesto, Nico, Stefan, Kobe, Carol, so much more. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe and support the channel. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, why did the SEO cross the road? They wanted to get hit by traffic.
Daniel Waisberg talks about Google Search Console API, a solution to pull data programmatically from Search Console. Learn all about the different Search Console API methods with examples of which data can be exported through each of them. APIs are developed for enable developers to build applications to build search performance data for the use in dashboards for their companies and external products. Personally, I've been learning a lot more about BigQuery to join this data. BigQuery can provide some fascinating insights when you combine all this data. Okay, be sure to check that out, and the video is in the description. Clint shared his insights from the SEO Spring Training conference this past week on his channel. Let's check one of these insights out.
Reviews. He did a case study, and he did recency and velocity is essentially what he's figuring out. And he did 1 review per day for 13 days. So that's a total of 13 reviews in his case study. And at that pace, the example that he's shown, the grid that he had shown, improved significantly for only 13 reviews. And he wasn't going out and buying reviews or anything. He's got a team and he figured it out, 13 reviews. And the idea is the recency of the reviews, the closer to the date, obviously, to today, and the velocity of the reviews combined to increase the rankings of the page. It wasn't necessarily the reviews and doing stuff like Brock Misner teaches, for example, adding the entities and the keywords and all that stuff, which is important, I would think. But you also want to have recency and velocity. So that is a great test to go out and try out.
All right, so the magic number is 13. Be sure to try and check that out. I mean, always test your strategies out there. I mean, we'll dive more into local SEO. We can ask Krystal more about this too as well. Okay, Chris Palmer shares a quick backlink tip from his Google patent. Let's check this one out.
How you can increase the power of a backlink, and this information comes directly out of the patent. You can go and check it out for yourself. All right, lots of Google patents out there, but one of them talks about the propensity for a backlink to be clicked. So if we want to increase the power of a link, some of the most common things that we hear about is we want it to be on a high traffic website, even though we know that we still get a benefit from all websites. Every link, even a junk one, still gives benefit. A no follow backlink even gives benefit. But with that being said, the propensity for a link to be clicked. So this could mean that the link could be bold. The link could be on the home page. The opportunity for the link to be clicked when it's a higher probability, the link is more powerful. It's in the patents.
I personally like creating keyword-rich CSS buttons to get that click on sites that I work on. I know some brand guidelines will not let you link headers, but when there's a keyword I want to anchor text and can do it in headers, I go ahead and link those. All right, so Google is retiring its ranking factors of this one just recently came out, which is a lot of debate on what these ranking factors are about. So Morty actually had some insights on this on Edge of the Web. Let's check this one out.
That they redefined what page experience is to basically be equivalent to usability.
Right.
which obviously includes things like CLS, but it also includes things like how easy is it to access the content, which is the definition of usability. And because of that, you can't unify it in any way, shape, or form, not even a semblance. Like before, there was like a semblance of unification. There was the mobile-friendly aspect of it. There was the interstitial aspect. Oh, it's all one kind of page experience thing. But if page experience now means usability, then it's not anywhere near a semblance of being unified, in which case you have to remove it from the ranking systems page, which means that they are looking at things algorithmically. You see, because they're asking in the freaking helpful content update, they're looking at usability. How easy is it to access the content?
Right.
So I think page experience has been redefined as usability, which means you can't have as a one ranking system, because it's almost like EEAT. It's being done by proxy by multiple aspects of the algorithm.
I mean, personally, Core Web Vitals and all that was kind of an afterthought when it comes to ranking for myself. I mean, with enterprise websites, it can be really slow, and our competitor sites are it could be much faster, and I wouldn't see much of a difference. I would still rank a lot higher than them. But I mean, don't get me wrong, providing a fantastic experience for your visitors should be the number one thing to drive them to convert, right? So this includes like personalization, but these experiences can technically slow down your website. Okay, our last video today is by the CEO of Maiden, Chip Malt. He shares how to get traction in 6 months on Stage Media. Let's check this one out.
Probably around April or May of 2016, and launched in September of 2017. So almost a year ahead of brand building, finding manufacturers, developing the product, like all this other stuff. We had the domain and we started building content right away. Knowing that SEO is long tail, it takes a while. It takes a while to get domain authority, et cetera. And so each week we would publish some sort of content piece. That way, by the time we launched, we had a series of, we had some domain authority, but we started to build kind of that wave ahead of waiting till launch and then having that tail come way after. So this has been a portion of our strategy from, like T-minus 12 months kind of thing. It's not just a launch afterwards, which I think is unique for a lot of brands. And then too, like that's been a theory and conviction of ours since launch. So doubling down as our team size grew.
I mean, this is an excellent idea that I didn't really think about. I mean, like before, if you know you're going to start a business, once you get a head start and create content before you even launch your business to develop that authority. I love it. Okay, we are now at my favorite part of the show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell while I get things ready. Please ask questions in the order that receive, and I will address them. All right. Krystal is the global director of pre-sale solutions at Uberall. She has over a decade of experience in local search and is passionate about helping brands build hybrid customer experiences. She's a Google Business Profile Platinum product expert and a faculty member at Local U. Please welcome Krystal Taing. Krystal, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. That was quite the intro.
Love it, love it. Everyone, let's give a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to get right into it. This is what the first question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here in 1 minute or less. How does Krystal get ranking on page 1 of Google?
So I'm actually interested to know how many people say it depends, because there is no secret sauce to rank first page. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of consistency. I think, as you mentioned, and yours, testing things that work for you. There's no, tricks to get on the first page. It's about understanding your brand, the things your customers are interested in, and making sure that's all known to Google.
Love that. First knowledge bomb of today. Okay, hold on. Let's rewind this. Take us way back in time to when you first got into SEO. When was that?
It was about 2010, 2011, and it was actually an accident. So I was working at an e-commerce site, and I was the site merchandiser. So I was responsible for getting all of the product, making sure that it was on the website, monitoring how successful it was. But the thing that was interesting is even at that time, all of my decisions were led by like fashion trends, meaning what was on the red carpet, you know, what were on TV shows, what was interesting there. And it was really the Panda update that changed my job responsibilities quite drastically, to the point that like I had an understanding of the keywords and topics we were trying to rank for, but we had a really strong brand in our industry. And we worked with maybe some, you know, web developers that had what are now known as black hat tactics. And so there was a period of time where I had to understand what, you know, disavowing links was. And all of my guidance really changed from understanding what was like the hot topic or hot trend, and really analyzing, you know, how our category pages were converting and what products, you know, at what price points were being interested on, and using leveraging tools like Google Analytics and things like that. And to me, that was so much more interesting than like working with the fashion magazine editors and seeing what styles they wanted and that type of thing. And I just found the technical analysis of our website, our pages, and the ability to make changes and impact and see and measure those so much more interesting to me. So yeah, it was actually a mistake that, you know, I'm really happy, you know, for the Panda update.
Love that. Love that. So all the data and be able to tweak things and see improvements, like you fell in love with that. I love that. Okay. So, all right. I mean, so how did you actually learn it then? I mean, you can't just see it and do it, right? You have to learn somehow. So I'm curious, like, how did you actually learn how to do all this?
I would say a lot of different people. So hiring agencies and finding that person that you align with and you're like, I love the way they explain things, they make sense. And I think aligning yourself with someone that knows they don't have all the answers. I think in SEO, that's really important. Like anytime you go to someone, they're like, I know exactly how to, you know, solve all these problems. And if that's the case, then no website would have any issues whatsoever.
Yep.
But really identifying those people, whether it's at an agency, whether it's on forums, whether it's, you know, at other companies that you've met at a trade show or a conference show, and really listening and understanding. And then from there, they'll share articles, you know, you go and test all that stuff for yourself and really evaluate the responses and just keep adjusting.
Love that. Okay, so I mean, these were some of your resources. You went to, like, you know, conferences and people. I mean, who are some people that you actually follow, and what are some of the resources that you actually checked out, you know, online, or, you know, even conferences you attended?
Yeah, I will say, as I kind of transitioned into local SEO, there's, you know, Mike Blumenthal, Joy Hawkins, Darren Shaw, David Mim. These are like, I feel like the founding fathers of local SEO, like Greg Sterling. And the thing that I love about local specifically is they are always so open to help and always so willing to share information. It's just like this incredible community. And joining, you know, forums like the local search forum, you know, working and connecting with folks on the Google Business Profile Forum, and, you know, listening to a lot of these podcasts. Really, it's this incredible community of sharing. And, you know, you go to these shows and there's always a group of them. So whether it's, you know, at SMX, whether it's at, you know, Local U puts on their own shows, Brighton SEO, there's just a ton of them in a great community.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so now let's go into the tagline I have on your name right here, because it's a mouthful. Google Business Profile Platinum Product Expert. So, I mean, that's something I found you on LinkedIn, and I was like, I'm curious, like, oh, tell me more about that. Like, what is that about? How can someone become a Google Business Profile Platinum Product Expert?
Well, it's actually funny because I do like the title more than the original title, which were Rising Stars and Top Contributors, although I would prefer maybe less words in terms of it. But I was like, I'm a rising star, you know, that's so exciting. But really what it is many actually Google products have a forum where users of those products go in and volunteer to help answer other users' questions. And so when I got into local specifically, in, you know, late 2010 or so, I will say that I had a lot of questions because I was representing a lot of enterprise brands. And Google Business Profile, which is now known as, or which was formerly known as Google My Business, and before that, many other Google Local, it is not necessarily built with someone that's managing multiple locations or a lot of locations in mind. So I had to find a lot of tricks. And I had a lot of questions because I'm like, it's great if you do this for one location, but how do I do it for 10 or 100 or 1,000 locations? And so I would go to this forum, ask questions, but I also noticed there were a lot of questions that I had already figured out the answer to because I'm just a natural tester and trier of things. And so I started answering these questions specifically around like bulk and agency. And it was only a matter of time after, doing that consistently that Google reached out and said, we noticed how helpful your answers are. We'd love you to be a part of, this community of, experts. And as I mentioned at that time, it was called the top contributors. But you essentially are in this group where Google says they trust you to help provide answers to their community that they just don't have the resources to answer these hundreds and hundreds of requests all the time. And so I've just been doing that for years and learning along the way. Again, it allows me to learn a lot more and see, the types of things that other users are trying to get solutions for. And I just love it. I love being a part of the community and not just learning from users, but the other product experts as well. And then I will just say there's just little levels. I think there's bronze, silver, platinum, diamond. I just happen to be at the platinum level. So that's what that means.
Love it. So when can we see you become a diamond expert?
There's no straightforward path. It's really about the number of points that you get in the system and questions and answers. And, I personally am never really interested in getting a certain number of points or asking or answering a number of questions. My intention is always just helping users try to get the right information. And sometimes that just means there tends to be a lot less bulk and agency questions, but we'll see. Maybe check in with me in another 6 months or so.
Love it. Okay, so where can people go to actually maybe become a contributor and maybe possibly build up? Because I can see this being like a really good brand development for your personal brand as a local SEO expert. Having this badge, just being able to call yourself that. So where can people go to actually become one?
Yeah, if you just Google the Google Business Profile Forum, there's a community. And the initial one, it'll ask if you have a question for community or if you want to get involved. So you just go through the path. And I will say, my recommendation, because I've talked to and I've actually mentored a lot of folks that wanted to get involved in the community. It's just try your best at answering questions. That's really all it is. It's these business owners that are just completely lost. They've tried to look for support from Google and maybe other places. And you may not know the answer, but you might be able to make some suggestions. And I know they appreciate it. These busy business owners that just have no idea what claiming your business is on Google and what that means, they appreciate it a lot.
Love it. Okay, so I want to go into your position now at Uberall, and I want you to learn a little bit more about Uberall because it is related to local SEO, right? There's the actual tool itself actually is kind of related to how it can help us, become better at local SEO or increase our local SEO visibility. What is Uberall? How can it help?
Yeah, so Uberall is a local search platform where we enable businesses of all sizes. So whether you're a small to medium business or you've got hundreds and thousands of locations across the world, which is a sticking point as we are a global company. Uberall is a German word. It's based in Berlin. So we enable businesses to do a number of things across the customer journey. So managing your location data and make sure it's published accurately everywhere a customer could be searching, ensuring that you are receiving, engaging, responding to reviews across the web, from everything from Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Yelp, generating additional reviews, managing a locator and page in your content, your local inventory, basically anything you need to publish to a user that's searching for your physical location on the web, our platform supports it. And we try to simplify it. That's really our intention, is not to overwhelm business owners and make it easy to engage and adopt and manage that customer journey.
Love that. So I actually didn't know it went that deep. So I'm curious, something like this seems like it's really expensive. But it's meant for all business sizes, could be small, large. What's the price points for Uberall?
Yeah, it definitely varies, and it varies based on modules. It's likely going to be, cheaper than an ad campaign whenever you're thinking about it. So if you're comparing it to your spend, which I know a lot of businesses have to do, there's budgets, there's priorities. It's typically going to be a cheaper investment than what you're spending on an ad campaign. But it's going to vary whether you want to do just listings, just reviews, you want to add locator and pages. But it's all the stuff that businesses should be doing. So I think it's a worthy investment.
Love that. Okay. So now let's get into some more questions about local SEO, local strategy, and organic SEO here. Because one thing is there's two parts of SEO, right? There's I guess the map SEO for local SEO. There's the maps portion, and then ranking for actual local SEO terms, right? So I mean, can you explain how can we optimize for both? I mean, let's say because when I've searched some companies, I can see their map come up, but I don't see them in the organic results. I mean, how can we improve that right there?
Yeah, so it's important to know, and I will do a plug. I think as you mentioned earlier, I work on the local search ranking factors. I'm a contributor to those. I do definitely recommend everyone review them because it goes into detail about the differences between the Google's local algorithm, which is what is ranking the map pack. So the literal Google Maps listings. And then there is the local organic impact. So that is how those blue links in their organic results rank for local queries. And there are shared values between the algorithms, but they are different. But it doesn't mean that just because you're investing in prioritizing these things in terms of ranking on Google My Business or Google Maps, there also are things that will impact you from a local standpoint. So I will say anything associated to Google My Business or Google Business Profile, that's going to allow you to rank in the map pack. That's going to be highly visible on both desktop and mobile. But there's also a lot of benefit to being able to rank on those blue links. So getting your website, and if you are a multi-location business, you want your specific page for that location to rank for local queries. So say you're a pet store, maybe you offer veterinarian services and someone's in San Diego and you want to rank for veterinarian services San Diego, the goal should be to make sure your location shows up on the Google Maps, but then also your website for that local page highlighting that you have vet services shows up as well. There are a lot of different aspects to both of them, but typically we'll refer to that as local organic, and then the local algorithm is the Google Maps listings.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, so now, I'm curious, what are some success stories that you've actually worked on? Let's say some of the local SEO. Let's start with maybe on the maps portion first. I mean, if you were to go in and share one of your biggest wins and case studies, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think one of the ones that's really interesting is we work with a lot of large enterprise brands that, may have different challenges than, smaller businesses. So enterprise brands usually have to have the brand recognition, they have domain authority, but there are other goals that they have. So one brand that we work with, it's a very large coffee chain that's, got dozens and thousands of locations all over the world. They show up for coffee, they show up for lattes, they show up for all the typical terms, but they were not ranking really well locally for terms around breakfast, although they offered breakfast. So one of the really unique things we did is tested a number of their locations, and we're thinking within the Google Business Profile, you're fairly limited by Google on what you can add. So we were trying to be creative. It's you can add a category, you can add, maybe some social posts. But something that really moved the needle was adding images of breakfast foods and sandwiches to their Google profile with the tags of breakfast items and being able to rank for that. And so that was quite interesting because they wanted to, capture additional searchers and say you may not be searching for coffee right now, but if you're searching for breakfast items, we want to make sure you consider to come to our location. And that was one that, we saw a lot of success for, and they started to pick up a lot of traffic for breakfast related terms after launching that campaign, despite adding it to their pages, despite adding this content in other ways. So I thought that was always a really unique win for us and a way to be creative in other ways using the Google Business Profile.
Love that knowledge bomb there. Okay, so images, guys, be sure to upload a ton of images. I mean, is there any ways to format our image, any things to take pictures of images? Should it be a high quality? Does it matter? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I will say in general, especially for particular image or for particular industries, that images have such an impact. You just think about like restaurants in general. Like if you go on your cell phone and you search for restaurants near me, I oftentimes will say like the search result looks more like Pinterest than like a navigation app. And Google knows that customers react strongly to images. And now they don't have to be professional images. You don't have to go hire a professional photographer to, take pictures of all your food items or anything like that. A smartphone will do. A smartphone is perfectly fine. It's really just about it being in focus and about being an image that's going to be helpful for your customer. So these are really things to keep in mind. You look at the images that are showing on your profile, the images that are defaulting on maybe nearby businesses' profiles, and making sure that you just have a consistent way to add those so that they have impact to users. But yeah, you don't need to go hire, a 360 photographer. You can if that's important, but a smartphone image, loaded to your profile works perfectly well.
Love that. Speaking of images, I actually heard this before, so I'm curious of what your thoughts on this is. Like, make sure you upload images like with your phone, so it has the geotag, the geolocation on it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
It is the biggest myth. It is the biggest myth in local SEO. I would love if someone brought a report that showed data on that, but it is one of those things that we kind of say, like, every time that happens, you got to do a dance or something because it comes up on every podcast, every webinar, but there is no proof that works. And it's also like, there was a thread recently, I think it was on Twitter, where someone had proved to they convinced their boss that was the case. So their boss was allowing them to fly all around the world just to take pictures and load them to their profile. And that is the one time I wish the myth was not a myth, because I would love to present that to my bosses. But it's I wouldn't take the effort. I've never seen, after years of that actually having impact. User generated content in general is helpful. So users loading pictures, users adding reviews. Sometimes there is association with users engaging with your profile that are in an area you want to rank in, but you as a business owner will have no impact if your photo is geotagged, which is the term.
There you have it. First, you had Google from a Google Business Profile Platinum product expert. Good geolocation doesn't really matter.
Geotagging, images.
Yeah, geotagging them. Okay, so I want to go into something where what we kind of, like, I brought this up at a video I found earlier this week on reviews. And we'll talk a little bit more about reviews, because I mean, is there like a specific number that you've actually tested or seen? Because I mean, they're saying, like, at least post the velocity and the frequency is actually can play a part where have it consistently add like just one each time and getting a minimum of like 13. I mean, like, have you heard anything similar, or do you do something similar in reviews?
Yeah, typically what we'll see is, as long as you hit 10 or more locations or 10 or more reviews per location, that is kind of the threshold to be able to compete from a review standpoint. I know obviously in some areas and some industries that more is definitely the target, but we oftentimes see an impact when you have 10 or more reviews on your location.
Love that. So how about if your competitors all have like maybe 20 and that you see them in the maps and everything like that? So it's like, is our goal to at least get 20 or more? Or, like, I mean, kind of like to compete with that, or does that matter or not?
Yeah, I would definitely, when you're evaluating your competitors, look to get more than they have. I would not set my baseline at what they have. I would always set my baseline at higher. But also what's more important is your average review rating, and to your point, the velocity at which you receive them. So are you getting them consistently? You don't want to get a ton at one time and then not get a bunch of reviews for a long time, because Google's going to look into recency, relevancy, and other things. So even if you have a high goal to hit, putting a plan in place that will ensure consistent stream of reviews from actual customers is going to long-term be a lot more impactful than like going out and getting a bunch at once and then not getting any more for a long time.
Excellent!
Love it. Love it. Okay. So now, speaking of getting them and requiring them, I mean, how can we get people to leave reviews? I mean, what are some tactics that you've seen work to at least get some reviews or get our people to actually, review our business?
Yeah, so I will say the number one tactic is provide a great service and product. Like there's no tricks to it. It's like just inspire customers to leave good reviews. Outside of that, ask every customer to leave a review, whether they're happy, neutral, or maybe didn't have the best experience. I think those types of things will ensure these long-term consistent review profiles.
Got it. So you kind of brought something up here because how about if it was a negative review? What do you do with negative reviews? Can you get rid of them somehow?
So you can get rid of reviews that violate guidelines, but I wouldn't just target negative ones. I think businesses should not hide from negative feedback because reviews are a ranking factor, but they're also a huge consideration factor for a future customer. So if you do have a negative review, I would take those seriously. I wouldn't, unless it violates guidelines or something like that, of course, you can try to get rid of it. But if you have the opportunity to respond to this person like they were a human and you understand that their experience is valid from their perspective, respond in a way that you would want to respond as a business owner. And I think from a future customer that's evaluating your review profile, as long as you don't have dozens and dozens of negative reviews, because you should be getting them from all customers, they can understand that sometimes people have bad days, whether that's someone that was working at the front desk or maybe the customer that was just, they could not be pleased no matter what happened. But that is my, number one recommendation for negative reviews is don't be afraid of them, respond with empathy. And no matter how much or how personal it feels to your business, always assume that their experience was valid.
Love that. And guys, if you want to ask some questions, be sure to ask them in the live chat. But continuing on these on the negative reviews, how about if the negative review gives me a 1-star for something that's not even related? Say it's the parking or something. It's parking is something that's not even about my food.
Yeah, no. So any review, whether it's, negative, positive, neutral, there are guidelines that Google has that you can report. So you can flag reviews. There's a number of reasons. This is where I think being in local SEO or partnering with an agency that's familiar in local SEO, we read the guidelines like it's the newspaper. We know every single thing. We know how to escalate it. We know how to provide this feedback to Google. And so just reviewing what is valid content and what is not. Google has guidelines around who can leave a review? Are they associated to your business or not? Other types of proof. I think recently I just had a case that I escalated to Google where our wonderful TikTok trend someone created a video and asked them to bash a store. And so we were able to share that TikTok video with Google, and then they were able to flag and remove all reviews that happened after that time frame. So there's just so much detail and understanding to this. And so that's an interesting case, and it happens all the time.
Love that. So, but how easy is it to contact Google? I'm pretty sure they get so many responses. What's the length look like? Am I gonna have to wait a few months to get them removed? Or is there someone directly that we can contact?
There isn't. So there's Google support. And if you're contacting Google support, I will say be as detailed as you can, review the guidelines, be clear in your request as well. But their response times vary based on so many things that are going on. Did they just release a product that has a bunch of bugs in it? So they had to take their standard support team and help there. Or is there something impacting, a community around the world that their support team happens to be located in that has taken their resources away? So you will see huge fluctuations in the time frame in Google support's response. That is also why Google created the forum, the Google Business Profile Forum, where, again, it's just a bunch of volunteers. Some of us do have access to provide guidance to escalate these to Google as well. That is another route if you feel like you're not getting supported by Google support. But there is not a magic number, unfortunately, to call to get these things taken care of.
Love that. Okay, so I'm curious now. Let's get into some local marketing tactics. This is what Uberall does, right? This is kind of your piece. I know there's other services out there that does this, but I want to go into say if someone wants to just start a local SEO campaign, a local marketing SEO campaign. And a lot of people talk about like citations and all this stuff. I mean, like from your perspective, I mean, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I would like to get started on local SEO," like, can you kind of walk us through maybe at high level of what the things you would do for this business?
Yeah, I would say one, it depends on their budget and priorities and what their intentions are. Like, are they trying to compete with someone? Are they trying to rank for someone? Are they trying to earn new business in a particular category? I think that does adjust the priorities. But if there are a handful of things that it's, you focus on these first, it is publishing your listing on Google Business Profile, launching a website, start getting reviews. Like, those are the first 3 things you can do. There are a ton of other things. So you mentioned citations. Citations are essentially everything you submit to Google Business Profile, you submit to every other site as well. And this is what Uberall and tools like Uberall is great at, because you build a single profile. And yes, that data is going to go to Google, but in a single click, because we've got a lot of APIs, it goes to Apple, it goes to Yelp, it goes to Facebook, it goes to, Yellow Pages, it goes to the BBB, it goes everywhere your customers could potentially find you. So essentially, citations are really helpful in building trust from Google. So Google's going to take the information you provide with a grain of salt. They're going to be like, okay, I understand this, but let me go validate on these 20 or 30 other sources that the information you provided to me can be trusted, and I'm going to index it and rank it. So citations are beneficial, and I definitely suggest, services or tools that help automate citations, because it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not something I would say is going to be the most exciting part of like a local marketer's day. But it's kind of table stakes, because you don't want Google to see disinformation and then not trust and rank your business because of it. But definitely, I think everyone's on Google. That is really where a large majority of your customers are going to be. So if you have to prioritize, it's Google, it's your website, it's reviews.
Love that. Okay, so sometimes, I mean, this happened to me one time when I said, the client says, we're already on Yelp. We don't need to be on Google. What would your your response to be to them when they say, oh, I got all my reviews on Yelp, I'm fine. I mean, I don't need any local SEO.
Yeah, I just say, look at your website and look at your referrer domains. Are you getting any traffic from Yelp? Are you getting any traffic from Google? Where are they converting? And you will have traffic from Google, no matter what, whether you've claimed a listing, whether your website is ranking or not. And Google is always going to be typically the top referring domain. And then that typically will help you prioritize. Yeah. And that goes the other way as well, is if they say we're on Google and we don't need to be on other sites, so go check your where else are you getting traffic from? I've talked to so many businesses that are getting a lot of traffic from Bing, which is surprising. They're like, why do we need to go on Bing and claim our listing and update this? It's like, well, look, a lot of people are actually visiting you from Bing. So it's important that they're not getting incorrect information and they know and understand what your brand represents.
Love that. Love that. We love promoting Bing here on the show. I mean, Bing's places, Bing everything, Bing webmaster tools, guys. We always talk about that here. We never leave out Bing. But we actually got our first question here from the live audience from Website Design and Marketing Company. They ask, how do location pages affect the Google My Business rank?
Yes. So this is a great question. One of the things that I think is interesting is the website URL that you add to your Google Business Profile. Anytime you edit that URL, Google triggers a crawl of that page. And what they're doing is they're crawling that page to, one, validate the information matches. And in some cases, Google will change the information on your GBP profile if it doesn't match what's on your website. So it's important to have consistency, but also they're crawling it to understand what other things can they see on your website that is not on your GBP listing. So again, you have some categories, you have some attributes, but for businesses that are dynamic, they can't list everything on Google. So they want to understand more about your business to understand how they can rank it in other searches. And I will say there are some particular industries where a page, like a location page, is imperative. So if you're a service-based business, meaning you're delivering the service to your client, maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you're a plumber, maybe you're a home health aide, there is very limited things you can do in Google to rank for that service area in Google My Business. having a location page that talks about your services, your service areas, is oftentimes the only way that Google will understand that kind of concept about your business. So it's important for all because Google's crawling it to learn about you. And then of course, they're going to start ranking you more either for your main terms or additional terms. They also consider these things like they're called justifications, where they will say, I have this location in the maps ranking pack, and it'll have a little bolded term under it that says website mentions you like curly fries or something. Meaning the word curly fries is nowhere in your Google listing. It's not on any image or any review, but Google crawled your website. They see your menu on your website, and they are basically justifying to a customer, I'm showing you this business because their website mentions that they have curly fries. And so they are using it really to better understand your business. And in a lot of niche industries, it really can help rank for some of those long tail or more specific queries.
Damn! Man, that answer for you, website design and marketing company. All right, love that. So I'm curious, with when you said location pages or location, are you talking about like one location page on your website and putting all the locations on one page, or are you talking about like putting the location on the different services pages? Like, was it one page or is it multiple pages? Yeah, can you explain a little more?
Yeah, so it depends on your configuration. If you truly operate more than one physical address, you should have a page per address. Again, if Google's crawling it, there are things like name, hours, phone number that could vary by location that you should make sure match what's in your GBP profile. Now, if you're a single location business, it would be whatever page you want to create or focus on that is most relevant to that location. So if it's a service-based business, typically, a page that talks about the service, talks about the areas you serve, and usually we'll have some type of contact form or appointment form. But it's really about making sure what is relevant to the customer when they see your Google listing and then click on website. Most of the time, going back to the homepage is not going to be the most helpful experience.
Love that. Website design and marketing company says, well answered. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to the last few more questions here. I got a few more questions. And you guys, if you have any more questions, please ask them in the live chat. So I'm curious because, when you talk about services, we talk about local. Mobile should play an option here, right? Like the whole mobile optimization play. How does it relate to with the mobile display, mobile ranking factors? How does it relate to local SEO with the mobile device?
Yeah, I will say if you go to Google's defined local search ranking factors, one of the main ones is distance. So they will rank businesses from a local standpoint based on the distance that business is to the searcher. So of course, many people may have, location services enabled on desktop, or they may be adding like parameters like searching, San Diego or Seattle or Oakland. But when you're on mobile, that distance is so much more impactful. So you're going to get a lot more unique results based on that. And so whenever you are publishing your business and evaluating, ranking your business, it's important to understand your very local competitors and doing those local searches where your customers may be doing them. And I think on the flip side too, one of the things I see all the time is like someone will say, hey, I'm not ranking. I did a search for, my business in New York City and I don't see it. Well, the person is searching from like Miami, Florida or something. Like you are going to get very, very different results, especially on a mobile device, if you are doing a search in Miami for a business that's based in New York City. And so understanding how distance plays into Google, the way Google ranks a business, and then knowing that on mobile, that's kind of like exploded because it's a very quick action based search, that is important. But in general, you should understand that like if you're a business that wants to engage with customers, like mobile and even tablets at this point, because oftentimes they have a very similar experience, that is likely driving 30 to 50% of your device usage.
Love that. Okay, I'm gonna go to my. I have like 2 more questions here to go. I'm coming close to time here, but I wanted to see like what are your thoughts on like other marketing strategies that can help local SEO, like whether it's like social, maybe like events and stuff like that. I mean, like how? I mean, is this something that you like kind of recommend to your clients or your customers? I mean, like using other channels to help your local SEO.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great one that you brought up is social, because that is typically after you do the core items and you're like, okay, I've built my brand, my presence is there. What are those additional things that I can do to be, competitive, engage new markets, connect with other customers? Like social is the other aspect. So whether that is prioritizing, Meta or Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, again, understanding where your customer and potential customer base is, and you're targeting them and you're showing off your brand in those aspects. I think, again, it's just the talk of the time, but like TikTok and meeting and capturing new customers on TikTok right now, I've seen so many interesting stories. Like I will go and I will get recommendations on how to build an Excel spreadsheet from people that are promoting their agency that teaches, data entry and those types of things. And they are capturing a completely new user base there. But I definitely think the engagement that you see and the loyalty that you get from social, engaging in social, is much different than you would get from search and reviews and any other element.
Love that. Okay, guys, please ask your questions because this is my last question for today. This is the last question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. I mean, if someone wants to become an SEO professional, let's say in this case, wants to become a local SEO professional, I mean, what would your advice be to them?
Yeah, I think one, get engaged in the community. Everyone is so helpful. So it's LinkedIn, it's Twitter, it's leveraging like the Google Business Profile Forum, the local search forum, local U, any of these that you see, you can follow them, the folks that are in local SEO on Twitter, and just, you see the conversations, you see who engages with who, and then reaching out and asking questions. Like I cannot reiterate enough that the local SEO community is so helpful. There are even Slack groups. Like I'm in a number of Slack groups. So if you are a woman that is looking to get into local SEO, there's the Women in Tech SEO community. It's a Slack group. It's a conference. It's everything. And it's just incredible how helpful it is. So don't be afraid to get engaged, ask questions, and connect with people that you just don't know.
Love that. I didn't see other questions come in here. I mean, I just want to thank you so much. I mean, this was great. You dropped so many knowledge bombs here. But I mean, for this episode to feel complete for you, I mean, how can people get a hold of you? I mean, any last pieces of advice for anyone? The stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. So of course, any questions, feel free to, DM me on LinkedIn, reach out to me on Twitter. I'm always happy to help. And I will also say, like, if you are struggling with any like Google Business Profile questions, verification, reviews, anything, like posting that on the Google Business Profile Forum, searching on there for other people that are experiencing the same challenges, and you can kind of see how they've navigated that. You're not alone in all these challenges, so always feel free to reach out.
Love it. Everyone, let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much. Can you hold on for 1 second while I sign off here? Just hold on for 1 quick second.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. And I will see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre DeVera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!